Well, we got a banger for you tonight. This is great. The 5 years of hard work on this channel, debunking bad information and pushing good information, good leads, and good sources, more fruitful information, debating with debunkers and skeptics, and putting this information out there. We are finally making waves, and this is the proof right here, guys. Check this out. Bam. This is a video from a channel called Project Unity. My buddy Jay over there. Why don't you guys go ahead and check out Project Unity's channel and hit that subscribe button. This is a good video.
Would you say that there is sufficient energy within Congress and within the Senate in relation to this subject, or is it still kind of trying to kindle a fire that isn't quite burning yet?
I think we need to kindle the fire a little more. I think we need to put pressure on our leaders. And I think we need a leader in the White House who eventually will say, you know, enough is enough. I'm going to come forward with this stuff. Get out of my way. I want to get the information now and let's get it. Because I really don't think we're going to get to where we need to be. Because they're going to move the target. They're going to lie to us. They'll move the locations. And, you know, I don't get too hung up on locations and stuff because by the time we get there, it's like somebody that's wanting to take a Odell, which is a congressional delegation, I think, trip to Area 51. And, you know, we can all get our picture made in front of the signs that say, deadly force can be used, or we'll go to the little ALN, the bar, you know, and that kind of stuff. And I just don't think we'll get to see too much.
Well, it's like you said, recently I saw you were on Tucker Carlson. He's very interested in this subject and in a real approach. And I think obviously big audience, caught your short kind of segment with him. You're right about one of your concerns that you highlighted, which is that you don't feel comfortable quickly sharing photographs or any kind of evidence that might be given to you, because disinformation, I think, is one of the real problems with this particular subject. I mean, it's been rife within this particular subject for decades anyway. People polluting the waters, going to these UFO conferences, you know, shady spooks who give you a little whisper in the ear and send you going down a narrative that doesn't quite make sense. And I think right now, for people like yourself who are pushing at the front, that's a genuine risk. Do you feel like there may have already been attempts to get you to traffic in disinformation?
Oh, 100%. 100%. And the trick is there's some of them that are doing it that are, in my opinion, don't know they're doing it. They're the most effective ones. They've been given false information and they've got a huge following and they're a fraud.
Who are you talking about?
I'm not going to say.
I think you and I both know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I got my suspicions. And I mean, because every time I do these things, I get a call from somebody and they say, oh, you need to have this person at your thing. I mean, they're believers, and the person believes in themselves.
Yeah.
You know, but and it's a cottage industry too. You know that, and I know that. You and I must be the only ones that hadn't made any money off this thing. It's to me, I mean, because I do all this stuff for free. I don't ever charge for an interview or anything crazy like that.
Oh, I can say on the record, you've never charged me once for an interview.
And I'm in demand to be at these UFO conferences, to fly out somewhere, but I choose not to, just because I don't, you know, that ethically, I don't know who pays for it. And then I can just do it from my home.
Yeah.
And I feel like the same.
Yes. So this is great. So the debate's going raging about this. This came out. Jay put this out 3 days ago now. I also want to show a clip. I think this was from, there's another clip here that I got, and it was from Stephen Greenstreet on, and I think this is from 3 months ago. So this is kind of old. So I thought that this was just recent, that Tim Burchett's finally waking up, that there's these people with really huge audiences and a lot of influence on Congress who are essentially disinformation agents. An agent doesn't mean you necessarily know that you're an agent. You could just be, you know, basking in the glory and the ego of all the popularity and attention that you're getting. So there's lots of people who can be manipulated like that. This is from, I think this interview was from 3 months ago. And so it looks like we may have kind of gotten the message to Congress and them a little bit even sooner than we thought. I thought it was just like 3 days ago, Tim Burchett's finally like, something's going on. But this is just a couple months after the congressional hearing, because everyone's pointing out on Twitter that at the congressional hearing, Corbell, Tim Burchett calls Corbell his buddy and stuff. And
who is there anybody in particular that you think is a government disinformation agent?
I'll just leave it at probably somebody you've mentioned in this conversation.
Okay.
And the problem is they don't know it. That's the key to this whole thing, because
how would they not know it?
Because they're shown things that are false. Or they brought people to them that are false, or something's created. Because all they got to do is put a bug in somebody's ear, and then the government's getting another $1 billion to study some crazy project somewhere.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
It does. So the disinformation agent. Well, it does and it doesn't. So a disinformation agent is there to, one, discredit somebody.
Just get people off track, and two, to bring in more money. Just to keep the fire lit enough, just get you salivating enough to where you're asking a lot of questions, folks like myself. But I don't want any more money. I don't want the government to the government doesn't need enough. They need to go back, cut billions of dollars, trillions actually, but that's beside the point.
So if they're discrediting somebody, how would that open people's checkbooks up?
If somebody getting close to the real issue, they'll discredit them. Other people, they'll let them go down the rabbit hole so they can get the money.
Gotcha. So it's
you get it? They let Corbell go down the rabbit hole. They put him on all the mainstream channels. Greer has actually called out Elizondo and TTSA as a psyop operation, like an intelligence operation. So Greer, I mean, let's talk about Stephen Greer, right? And before I do that, I want to talk about these. There's so much to unpack here. Oh my God! So these disinformation agents are everywhere, and I want to there's one guy. It's here's his Twitter profile, and I want you can go look him up. And this guy messaged me the other day, and try to be my friend, acting all nice and friendly, and hi Jeremy, I'm just now typing in the Zoom discussion from you and Mark and Amy from 2020, and frankly I'm astonished. I just wanted to extend thanks for this, and as well as your more current work on the Alien Scientist channel. I've been reviewing your UAP technical summary document, so he nails all my best work, all the best stuff we've done, and then the most relevant stuff that's getting a lot of attention. But in his profile, it says this is his email, dude. Pete@cia.rocks. What the hell is that, dude? And then he proceeds to tell me that, oh, by the way, that guy that you had on your channel the other night with the scratchy Alex Jones voice, I hate that guy, and don't have him on your channel ever again. And, I'm just saying that to really, really, because I'm looking out for you, and I want to help you and improve your channel and make it better and easier for listeners, and all this bullshit. And I'm like, dude, Solar Marshall's been like one of my best friends in UFO stuff for like 15 fucking years, dude. I've known this dude. I've met him personally. I've been to his house. I've met, I've hung out. I stayed there with his brother and stuff, man. Like, so.
Yeah.
You're gonna try to get in my inner circle by talking shit about my best friend, dude. Like, it ain't gonna freaking happen. I'm sorry.
I'm a UFO researcher. I never claimed to be a scientist. Ever.
No, and you're just a normal dude. You're a bike. You ride motorcycles. You play guitar. We both play guitar, so we get along. When you collect guitars, you have a ton of guitars at your house and stuff, man. So we get along. We jam out on Marshall amps and play Metallica songs, and
we have a lot in common, man. And it's just it's insane that someone would say, get rid of him, as someone on there, fuck him, something like that. You know, I'm on here just as the UFO guy that's normal. I have an electronics background and stuff like that, but I've never claimed to be anything special. I'm just a UFO researcher, and I've been around for a long time. I knew a lot of the old timers that are gone, and I have some precious information, you know.
Absolutely. You were there for a lot of this stuff. So whatever, man, if you don't like his voice and you think he sounds like Alex Jones, then
That's crazy. You thought it sounded raspy. I mean, it's probably some jerk I know from another forum that I'm thinking of. They follow me around. They harass me from another group. It's crazy, man, how trolls are, brother. They will come at you with everything.
Yeah.
50 people on here just to harass me. I'm used to it. Michael Schratt, I just sent him a link. I didn't send him the StreamYard link, but I sent him a link. He wants to come watch. I might bring him in if we can.
They do not like us getting together and talking about, you know, Ed and black triangles and Area 51 and all this stuff, man. And they are probably, I think they're pissed right now that their narrative's falling apart. Why don't you tell what just happened on Twitter right now? I was trying to send him the link on Twitter and send him some pictures on Twitter. And they
absolutely crazy. As soon as I responded to Jeremy, it suspended my account. It suspended my Twitter account. I've been having so much trouble getting a Twitter account. It's trying to get me to pay $165 to be something about my account being what was it saying, Jeremy? What is $165 for it to be? I have it here in a picture.
As soon as I tried to send you the link, it said, "Oh, I can't send it," and I went to your account and it said, "This account has been banned off." You basically said you got kicked out. You terminated.
Yeah, certainly one of my account had to be verified for one. I don't know if anyone else has ever had this trouble. Then they wanted $168 for a year, and there was no way around it. I wasn't paying it, and he messaged me through my email. Somehow I got it. Got through back to my X account, which I just opened up a month ago. Messaged him back for the first time, and guess what? It's just I'm suspended indefinitely. And I sent him a picture of it and everything. It's just bizarre, man.
So I've been busy on Twitter going after, showing all the real truth issues. I've gotten behind a lot of different controversial issues and demanded government investigations, serious ones that actually look into real things and don't look at like disinformation. Tried to eliminate disinformation, debunk disinformation, and show people legitimate paths forward to getting the way out of this mess that the intelligence agencies have got the entire public in the world in since for the last 60, 80 years of lying to the public. The government needs to come clean, and it doesn't know how to come clean, and it so doesn't want to come clean that they're literally paying people and agents to go out and do all this. And guess what? I was on I did a 3.5 hour Twitter space last night. If you guys are on there, definitely it's recorded, so go listen to that. We get into some stuff, but a guy jumped on that stream who claims he was an NSA contractor down in Maryland, and that he's doing he wants to come forward because a bunch of people that he's been working with just went missing or disappeared, and they've hired all these new interns that don't really know programming and rely too much on AI to do the programming for them, so they don't actually know how to program themselves. And he said that basically they have jobs of people that have bots. So there's hundreds of accounts that aren't real people. They're just bots, and they post pro Corbell stuff. And then they all like each other, and they have this whole like circle jerk community where they all just, masturbate each other in a big giant circle. And it looks like there's, a lot going on there, but really it isn't. Okay. It's all manufactured by these intel agencies, and they know for real, if they didn't have the numbers all screwed up, we're actually getting more views probably than some of them. So it's starting to really flip their lid. I know it is. And because we're turning the tide on these assholes, dude. They've been pushing disinformation, So let's go. So let's talk about this, right? Yeah. Is it Corbell or is it Greer? So let's go down the list of all the things that Greer has done, because people are like, no, it's got to be Greer. Maybe it's all of them. I don't know. But Greer bought a Disclosure Project, right? He started with Disclosure Project in 2001. It took him, you know, he was into this all through the 90s and went and tracked down a whole bunch of these witnesses, all these whistleblowers, you know, that Corbell says he's got 40 of them, that they're ready to testify. They stand behind Grush, who's, you know, ready to testify and all this stuff. And
I would say Greer's done some good work. He's just done some crazy stuff too, right?
Let's go over the bad claims, okay? I don't want to call Greer out as a person and say that, you know, but he definitely was used as a disinformation agent. So Greer tried to start something called the Orion Project.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a project to basically bring out anti-gravity and free energy.
Still going with that one too, right? The clean energy thing is still something Greer maintains to this day. You can donate.
Yeah, he keeps saying that, you know,
there's all
there's
these
people who
bunch of
can make
people that
0
get involved,
point
but then
energy, that
people have been
UFOs use
killed,
0
he claims,
point energy.
you know?
I've always disagreed with it. I've always said it's got to be low energy nuclear reaction, this lattice assisted nuclear reaction or fusion, because that's what the science points to. All the science points to that you can't pull more energy out of the vacuum than you need to put back. You have
So
to
you're
put
talking
it back.
about what,
You
cold
borrow it from the
fusion?
vacuum, but you have to put it back into the vacuum.
Are you talking about cold fusion, basically?
Yeah, cold fusion. It was covered up in the 80s with Pons and Fleischmann, and then, you know, a number of scientists at BYU were trying to bring that out and stuff. So they covered it up with the media covered it up in Caltech and MIT. Caltech and MIT like tag teamed cold fusion and made it synonymous with pseudoscience and junk science, which is just a shame. If you want to learn more about cold fusion, you can go to coldfusionnow.org. And I've been covering this since 2011. I went to MIT and covered the IAP course put on by Dr. Peter Hagelstein and Mitchell Schwartz. And then in 2014, I went to the ICCF International Conference on Cold Fusion and film that. So you can go to the archive here on coldfusionnow.org and you can find tons of lectures, all the videos, the transcripts and everything, you know, and you'll see. It says Jeremy Riss right here of Alien Scientists. Boom. See, I'm mentioned there for helping put this all together. So we've got tons of great educational scientific, you know, deep science resources on all the cold fusion stuff for people that want to dig into that. And it's, you know, this is again now 10 years old. So this is what I was doing 10 years ago. Well, Corbell was still working on his first UFO film. But let's talk back about Stephen Greer. So he's been wrong about, he said that he thinks that they figured it out in the 1950s, right? He thinks we figured out anti-gravity in the 1950s. I say, I don't know if that's true, because we've done a lot of research into pretty much all the anti-gravity projects, all the secret college, the operations of everything that was going on in the 1950s. And I don't really see any evidence that we cracked it. At least not back then. I don't even think we've cracked it now, because, you know, it just
Michael Schratt would be perfect for this, and he's in the crowd right now. I gave Michael, I gave you the StreamYard link. Please come in. Check your email, brother.
Please
Solar
come
Marshal
in, dude.
is me.
I'd like to ask
messaging
you about
there.
that, because they got you to say that on Jesse Ventura.
They had Michael on Jesse Ventura. That is right.
Yeah, and he said, and I want to know more about that.
After we're done talking about Greer, so let's get our Greer discussion over. First, they work together. I understand that. He can't talk about Greer. I get it. They have a contract with each other.
Yeah, he can't. Yeah, that's fine. But I'm not talking anything bad about Mr. Greer. I'm just saying he's a kind country doctor. He's not a scientist, so he doesn't understand the science very well. Maybe got duped. I know he got duped by Tom Bearden and a bunch of those other quacks.
Yeah, I guess what we want, Michael, you come in and talk about the history of gravity, man, a little bit. You know that so well from the 50s especially, and what I've learned is from you. We know that one video of John Lear's father in there. They're just celebrating like crazy.
But Greer doesn't have a huge platform and a huge following, and he really hasn't put out a ton of disinformation. Let's list all the
interviewed so many people. It's over 1,000 witnesses. Over 1,000.
Oh, no, this is not what I wanted.
Incredible.
We took the article down. No, I just want Corbell UFOs. Right. So the one thing I know is if you type in any UFO stuff or on YouTube, the first thing that comes up is all Jeremy Corbell stuff. So he's the main guy, dude. He's like what the Mockingbird media is putting. That's the garbage that they're funneling out to the public, so they can distract everybody.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting that, you know, it's definitely him. I mean, look, did you listen? Tim Burchett's talking. He knows it's Corbell, dude, and that's the funniest thing. I think it's so hilarious.
Yeah, it's not.
All
It's
these
not.
idiots
It's
on
not
Twitter
Greer,
arguing.
it's Burchett and Corbell.
There's all
Right.
these people saying, "Oh, it's got to be Greer. There's no way." And you got all these people on Twitter, man. You just, you know, oh no, Joe Murgia and you know UFO Joe and all those the people that fell for TTSA, that they fall for every single UFO hoax. They buy into it 100%. Every single thing that comes across, they have no skepticism whatsoever, and then they're skeptical of the people that actually have skepticism. That's the like mind-blowing part, is like, you can't have any skepticism.
One of the things is Greer talks about Lockheed Martin and all the other military contractors and states it like it is. They've been working on this gravity problem for so many years. When you put trillions of dollars into something, you're going to get something back out. The opposite is Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp maintain this all has to be aliens. There's no way that we have any TR3B or anything that can, you know, that can be anti-gravity or manipulate gravity or manipulate whatever. You want to manipulate your, what's the one thing that the Ed used to talk about? The TR3B used to manipulate the, it's
the magnetic flux field, right? You call it the MFD, the magnetic field disruptor.
Yeah, the magnetic field disruptor. They will never ever admit to our government or our contractors ever being able to do anything. It's always aliens.
Yes. Yes.
Always aliens.
And that's the Richard Doty narrative.
Yeah.
That's the disinfo narrative.
That's right. And Greer is at least on it with the information about contractors, mainly Lockheed seems being the main ones that I can see that are way ahead on this stuff, man.
And you know what? Nobody in this entire field is free. Everybody's cut their teeth on disinformation once or twice. There's so much of it. It's so prevalent. Oh, hey, look who just joined us.
No way.
Now the dream team is back together. Holy
up, buddy? Look at this.
Long time no see, man. How's the Black Project been treating you, huh? How's the Black world, you know?
Good to see you guys.
Michael, let me tell you something. When you want to talk about a researcher, you're talking about like, we're like down here, like Michael Schratt's like up through my roof and like up into space. He's like way beyond, goes way beyond. I was kidding around the other night, just saying how far beyond he goes. And I wasn't even joking. It's very serious the way you should see what he does when we go researching, man. It's up in the morning, first thing. We go to where we're at and we start going through everything, trying to find anything interesting, and bam, he's Xeroxing it. He's Xeroxing it.
We got to get road trippers back in business, huh?
Yes. UFO road trip will happen again.
Right.
It almost happened today because I almost got laid off, but I didn't. So
I want to go to Ohio. I want to visit Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
Okay.
And I want to visit Battelle. And I want to visit Wright State University and that tunnel complex that was underneath it. And I want to see if we can take a concrete core sample.
Okay. So while we're at it, we have to stop at Edwards North Base Complex, and we have to stop at Edwards. Let's see, MacDill Air Force Base, of course, the Blue Room. You know, all the places where we need to go. So,
Michael, explain to everybody. Not many people know this. You can definitely get some views out of this. Michael has a page. I think it's the Blue Room Media.
No, not anymore. It's just Michael Schratt is my
okay.
YouTube.
Michael Schratt has a YouTube page where he puts out a lot of information. I've got his book right here. I showed it the other night on here. You can't get a book like this, ladies and gentlemen, as Michael would talk about. He did this book up, and it's got some of the greatest UFO stories. And look at these drawings and stuff you get out here. I think it's what, $59 or something like that.
No, it's not $59. No.
Okay, it's more or less.
27 bucks, I think.
Okay, well, let's put this way. I know he's not making much money off this thing. I mean, look at these filled with drawings and reports from the eyewitnesses. And these drawings go well above and beyond anything you can imagine. I sit at night sometimes and just look at this, and I'm fascinated. I took it to work, and guys are like, "What is that, man? Are you into UFO?"
Yeah,
I'm like, "You're
Mike's an
darn right." And you
incredible
look
artist,
at it.
man.
This
Beast on
is
AutoCAD.
Michael. Look up Michael Schratt on YouTube. He's got his own page. Please subscribe to him. It's excellent, man. He puts out material, what, every other day? You got something going out now at this point?
Well, certainly every Monday for sure, yes.
Yeah, it's great. And again, he goes over all these cases, man. These cases are fantastic. Right there is one of my favorite. The Falcon Lake with the man, what was his name? He was Polish.
Stephen Mikulak.
Yeah, Stephen Mikulak. The Stephen Mikulak case is incredible. This was on Unsolved Mysteries, and this is one of the ones that really got me into UFOs. I learned about this in the early 80s. I was a child, and Stephen Mikulak saw a perfect UFO land up in British Columbia, Canada, and he was out. He was hunting gems. Back in the day, you used to actually take a pick rock out and hunt gems. And
you're so good.
Back in the day,
you're so good, brother. You're so good.
The thing actually rotated, and it had like an opening there, and he looked in it, and it looked like gel and all kinds of weird stuff inside of the thing. It was incredible looking, and it blew these holes out, this grid pattern right onto his chest, and up until the time he died, that grill pattern was still there.
Dan, I see the passion in your eyes. I see the fire. I see it, brother.
It's back, man. It's back, man. Ladies and gentlemen.
That's great.
It's because you're on, Michael. Let's change.
Hey, you guys want to go over? You guys want to go over Eddie Laxon? You want to go over Eddie?
Yeah,
Laxon?
let's do the Eddie Laxon case. You want to talk about gravity research, man? Listen to this. It's great.
Let's try it here.
Talk about an exclusive, folks. Doesn't get any better than
this, guys. You know I'm small fries.
I'm pumped. You people are gonna love this, man. Wait till you see what Michael does.
Let's see here. That's
what I can do. I can bring people like Schratt on here. Jeremy might be way smarter than me. I got
no. I'm gonna present. I'm gonna present. Okay, guys.
Present, my brother.
Present.
All right.
Those drawings, everybody.
And we're doing so. I mean, I like the UFO stuff. I've always been an interest of mine and stuff. And but my channel's been like a lot more dealing with the science lately. And there's a lot of like, I'm starting to get like a lot of real big scientists checking out the work that we're doing at APEC and some of the people that we're having on. So, it's cool. If they're interested in this, then check it out. Yeah,
let's bounce it back and forth a little bit. Go ahead, Michael.
Are you guys seeing this full screen?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You got it. Okay. All right. So the bottom line here, gentlemen, because we're all on the same page here. I'm looking at these cases just like you guys are, and I'm looking at what the witnesses are telling us and what they're describing. Okay, this goes back to the 40s and 50s, long before Apollo 11. And what these witnesses are describing is tubes, pipes, cylinders, prongs, protrusions, spires with balls at the end of them. And I'm talking about 20 cases and more. That's what the witnesses are telling us. And my thought is, this cannot be haphazard. There's got to be a reason for every single characteristic on these craft. It can't be by accident. They didn't just slap this stuff on here. There's a reason for all of this. So my logic here was to let's see if we can look at high voltage electrical equipment and make a parallel correlation to what the witnesses are telling us here. So I started looking at Wimshurst generators. I started looking at Tesla coils. I started looking at Van de Graaff generators, and I'm thinking, okay, can we see any components here that are also being seen on UFOs according to the witnesses? So listen to what the witnesses are telling us here. So if we go to Danielson, Connecticut, November 20th, 1956, primary eyewitness at night saw this about a 25-foot diameter dish-shaped craft sliced in half, so the lower 50% was missing. It had an indented section on the bottom about 24 inches up, and then there were multicolored lights wrapped around the outer circumference of the craft itself. I'm going to blow this thing up here, and we'll get a little bit closer view here. And as you can see, what the primary eyewitness saw was what looked like an inverted Tesla coil with 3 donuts and then black bands separating these 3 donuts. Okay, so let's do a view in here. This is what the witnesses are telling us. Now, take a look at the bottom understructure. It's got this hieroglyphic type writing. It looks like Mayan or Inca pottery, something you would see on a Peruvian rug border. That's what the witness had talked about. Now, instead of me just giving you the 22-inch rims on this, let's go to the actual witness sketch. This is her original drawing. I mean, I love it. She did a fantastic job. And you can see on the bottom of these donuts here, this Aztecing, this Mayan pottery-looking inscriptions on there. Now, again, there's got to be a reason for all of this here. So if we do a side-by-side comparison, we're clicking off the boxes here, but we have to see if there's a parallel to the electrical components. Okay, so if you look on the left, now these black bands are coming into view, and then I did a blow-up view on the upper right. So resembled an ancient Arabic language, also looked like the border of a Persian or Oriental rug design, Mayan or Incan pottery. That's what she said here. Okay, so if you look at a Tesla coil with top load, of course, you've got the primary coil, you've got the secondary coil, you've got the top load. And then again, primary coil, secondary coil, the toroid is up on top. And again, another toroid here. And if we look at these Van de Graaff generators that you see at a high school science room, this is virtually identical to what our primary witness described on this craft. I'm just inverting this thing so now we can see this the way that she saw it. And this thing keeps on popping up like these are static electrical discharge spheres that we're seeing according to the witnesses.
There's very similar.
It's very similar.
While we're on that topic, Michael, can I just
throw
something in real quick?
Go ahead. Yes.
So this video I saw a couple months ago, but it stuck out to me because called the evolution of electrical computers. So they first, tried these, ceramic blocks like this, but then they noticed, this is the breakdown of the magnetic field. So the magnetic field goes like that, and they found that, it can still get over. So the electric field can penetrate. So what they did is they made this bridge, and they,
nothing standing in my way. Can you feel the attraction?
Music off so I don't get fucking hit.
I was gonna say, who was that? It wasn't me. Okay, I was worried it was me.
Yeah, it's the music on it. So this is the way that
it's like what we were seeing on the craft, on the bottom of the craft, the insulator.
That's right.
So this is the evolution of them, because this is how they, back in the early 1900s, when Tesla was first powering the grid and everything, they had to develop all this stuff based on the theory of electromagnetism and stuff. So I love how this just breaks down the fields though, and shows it to you about how these things evolved over time. So certainly by the by the 1940s and 50s, they had already. I mean, it probably took from the 1900 to 1950 to get to that point. And
again, that case was 56. So.
Right.
Do you want to go back to what Michael was saying there? Wait till you see the Eddie Laxon case. It's the best.
All right. So we'll go back here. All right. So
you guys see this stuff,
slideshow from current slide. Okay. So now we're back here, and I started looking at electrical components at substations, and you see they've got these transformer bushings here, electrical bushings, virtually identical to what the primary eyewitness had talked about in Danielson, Connecticut here. So we're seeing that high voltage electricity is a key element in these UFO sightings. All right, so let's go. It's March.
There it is. Look at this craft.
1966. Eddie Laxon was a private pilot. He had 5,000 hours total time pilot in command. He was also an electrical instructor at Shepherd Air Force Base, and he was driving to work on the morning of March 23rd, 1966. And this is not my case. This is an actual United States Air Force Project Blue Book case. Anyone can verify this. It's actually part of the Project Blue Book files. So he's driving down the road. It's about 5:06 in the morning, and his headlights come across and illuminate something absolutely bizarre that could only be described as a bowling pin tipped over at 90 degrees. Now, this thing was 75 feet in length. On the upper right section at the very tip off to the right, and we're going to work our way back here, he saw a bubble transparent canopy at the very right end of the craft. It looked like it was ripped off a B-26 from World War II. The whole thing was standing on pogo landing gear about 3 feet off the ground, like it came from the Apollo program. Now, there were 2 beaming spotlights shining directly forward, 2 beaming spotlights vertically downward toward the pavement. Aft of the forward landing gear, there was an air stair door on the starboard side, which you see here. And next to the air stair door, there was a man. He was wearing 2-piece military green fatigues. He was not an alien. He was not an extraterrestrial. He had a baseball cap with the bill turned up. He was shining a flashlight at the bottom of the air stair door like he was looking for something or inspecting something. Now, above the air stair door and slightly aft was a large spire that swept back and terminated into about an 8-inch diameter sphere. And I want to talk about that. Now, aft of the entryway to the air stair door, there was about a 3.5-foot diameter porthole window, starboard window, that was divided into 4 equal pie segments. Just aft of that were the letters TL4768. And I have a running cash prize reward, $100 cash prize reward for anyone who can decipher with documented evidence exactly what that means. Now, I'm guessing that this is a Atomic Energy Commission, United States Navy serial number connected to the Atomic Energy Commission. That's why I think it's heading in that direction. At the very end of this thing were 2 small flight controls that were way too small to be aerodynamically efficient. Now, when Eddie Laxon stopped his car, got out of the vehicle, and then was going back toward the trunk to get his camera, that's when the gentleman with the flashlight noticed that he was being watched by Eddie Laxon. So he scurried up this air stair door. He slammed the door shut. There was a high-pitched drilling noise, which pops up again and again. This whole craft levitated off the ground, sat there for 30 seconds, and then took off like a spark on a grinding wheel and made no sonic boom. And this is in 1966, before Apollo 11, and it's one of ours. It's absolutely one of ours. So is this the discharge sphere that we saw on the Van de Graaff generator, this static electrical discharge sphere? Is that what we're seeing here? Because if you look at these generators and Wimshurst generators, you see the same components. You see these spires with balls at the end of them. It's
those are the spark gaps, right. Yeah.
The same components are popping up again here. So let's go to his drawing. 75 feet in length, 8 feet tall. You've got the ladder, you've got the TL4768, and again, I've got a $100 cash prize for anyone who can independently verify this with actual documented evidence what that serial number actually means. Now, if you take a look at his drawing, you can see he ran out of space, right? Because if this is 8 feet tall and the whole thing is 75 feet across, then this is grossly out of scale. The whole thing should be stretched off to the left about another 4 times off to the left. So if you take his original drawing and his dimensions and you clean it up, you end up with this. Now, I also want to mention that he said that he was so close to this man with the military fatigues that if he saw him later that afternoon in town, he'd recognize him. That's how close he was. And this guy was wearing what looked like naval insignias or ranking insignias on his shoulder area. That's something he mentioned as well.
All right, senior chief or something. It looks like he's wearing
ranking insignias. That's what it looked like to him, to Eddie Laxon. So here's the actual Project Blue Book index card. I'm only going to read the first 2 sentences of the summary here. Observer spotted object parked on highway in front of his car. Observer stopped car and got out to investigate, but as he got close to the object, a man apparently entered the object, and immediately the object began to rise from the ground. Okay, now, here's the newspaper clippings that really drill down here. Houston Post, April 10th, 1966. Laxon, who is familiar with aircraft, said he had no thoughts about the craft being from outer space or even from another country. It's an American piece of machinery, he said. It's nothing foreign. Okay. So here's our man in question here, the Daily Oklahoman, March 1st, 1971. And it says, object sighted, now rude. Okay, because he regretted ever opening up his mouth about this, because he got ridiculed. He got calls at 3 a.m. He got calls from overseas. It got to the point where people were just bullying him about this, and he regretted ever even mentioning it. And if you think about it, it actually adds to the credibility of the case when you hear statements like that. Okay, now back to the same newspaper article. What I saw was definitely not from space. The man was wearing fatigues and had a cap with the bill broken up like Air Force mechanics wear, Laxon said. It had common English letters on it. And so my thought here is we should all consider very carefully the tremendous implications about what that means, because if this is in 1966 and this is a true case, then what was all this for? We already had the technology to travel into space without solid rockets, without liquid rockets, 7,500,000 pounds of static thrust, and and the multiple Saturn engines here. Why was all this necessary? All these pumps and valves and turbo pumps and single point failures. When you look at this as a whole, it's a lash up. It's gone the way of the dodo bird. I mean, is really all of this necessary? According to what Eddie Laxon saw, it's not necessary.
It's a great case. And my favorite for sure.
We have a lot of people with labs that play around with Van de Graaff generators and Wilmhurst machines and high voltage electric stuff. So I haven't seen anyone fly away yet. But why do you think that the Congress, like Tim Burchett obviously realizes now that he's been misled by these individuals with huge followings in the UFO community that have really distracted the public with just numerous case after case. I mean, there's very few things that he's put forward that have been legit. Like very few. I can't even name any, to be honest with you. I stopped listening to him after I give people 3 strikes, and once they bomb 3 times in a row, it's like, no, you're out, dude. Like, I don't give you another chance. So with Corbell, I mean, man, why? And Tim Burchett got access to your information, Michael. If Tim Burchett could have instead seen these Project Blue Book cases, I mean, you're not making this up. This is documented U.S. Air Force case from 1966. Right. If we could have put that evidence in front of the congressional hearings, because honestly, we haven't had a congressional hearing since, the 1960s. And most of that stuff was classified and buried deep in the archives back in the 60s. And now it's come out through researchers like you have gone through and copied the documents and stuff. This shouldn't have. We pretended to the entire public in America that ufology just started last year or a couple years ago, and we've hit the reset button on all this stuff, and nobody knows has any sense of continuity or what's going on, and they're all just like, "What if we told you it's aliens?"
Well, Michael, here's what I wanted to say. What if you're Tim Burchett and you just could drive down this road of ufology, which, my God, there's a road every inch. Okay, there really is. And you just come across this and you happen to type in UFO in Google. Imagine what goes through your mind. I mean, we've been at this 25, 30 years, guys, longer. And, I learn something new all the time.
Well, if you get really bored, you can go to NICAP.org and click on every year to your heart's desire, like 1947 and 1952. You'll be there all rainy Sunday afternoon, reading case upon case about military pilots interacting with these craft, trying to intercept them, going over radar ranges. It's all in the NICAP reports. In fact, 52 is even larger than 47.
Wow. I was going to say, Michael, do you want to talk at all about when you think the history of gravity research came to an end? I know you and me believe it's in the 50s. We believe it's in the 50s because it goes black after a certain point. They talk about it. They talk about gravity. and then all of a sudden you just don't see anything about it anymore. And no one's done more research on it than you, in my opinion. And you know exactly what you're talking about. Would you like to talk a little bit on here about that?
Sure. I don't think it ever came to an end. I really don't. According to what the witnesses are telling us. I mean, we can break this down here. Why don't we cover one more case here while we're here? From current slide. Okay, so if we go to
hey, jellyfish.
This is actually 76 case. 76. So this is Calusa, California. This is actually 76. Now the primary eyewitness was in his home at night. It's 11:30 p.m. He's watching TV, and all of a sudden the TV goes out and the air conditioning goes out at like the exact same time. So he gets off the couch, goes to the back, he looks at the circuit breaker panel, and everything seemed to be okay there. And as we talked about before, the next thing he noticed, this is a really good case, is that the hair on his chest, the hair on his arms, and the hair on his head not only started standing up, but started crackling. He was engulfed in a static electrical field. He looks up and he sees a 140-foot diameter dish-shaped craft. It has a dome on top with a spire at the tip. And then the dome didn't look like a standard dome. It looked like a lemon squeezer or an orange juice squeezer. It had these ridges on it, okay? And then he said it had these conduit pipes that had frayed edges at the bottom, which is very important. On either side, it had prongs that popped out. And then if he looked off to the left, he saw another craft that was half the diameter of the main craft that he was under, and it was pulling power off the 500,000 volt power lines, causing them to become cherry red. So now it's a CE1 and it's a CE2 case. Now, as this thing was getting ready to depart, it sucked up these ramen noodles, okay? And then these gooseneck lights popped up, one on either side. At this point, this guy's getting terrified. So he goes, and here's the newspaper clipping here that with the drawing, and you can see these conduit pipes coming down. We want to talk about what the frayed edges are. I actually gave a lecture about 1.5 years ago at MUFON Symposium, and a guy came up to me and he says, "You know what, Mike? I know what those are at the bottom of those conduit pipes. I know what they are." I said, "What are they?" He said, "It's a static wick. I call these things ramen noodles because they look like ramen noodles." But this guy told me that what you're seeing at the bottom here are static wicks, and they are used to dissipate static electrical fields when a craft is like at a low altitude in the vicinity of the ground. That's what these things are for. And so I started digging, and I've got the part number. I've got the vendor here. So you've got 110001, $192. And what's interesting is when this thing was getting ready to depart, it sucked up the static wicks into the bottom of the craft and then took off. So that's telling us that there was intent to it. There was design to it. There was an intelligence.
Oh my God.
He goes into the bedroom.
I never thought to do something like that. Look at that. It's the same part.
He wakes up his wife. He wakes up his 2 kids. They open up the blinds in the back window and they're looking outside. Now they see the large craft that he was originally standing under, flanked on either side by 2 smaller craft, and they're pulling power off the 500,000 volt power lines, causing them to become cherry red. And remember, this is all 1976 now. Now, the large craft went from a dead standstill to hovering over the low rolling hills in the background, 25 nautical miles away, and it did it in less than 1 second. No sonic boom. And then it repeated the operation in another second. So it had traversed 50 miles back in 1976 with no sonic boom, absolutely 50 miles. And literally 2 seconds it did this. So at this point, he says, "You know what? We're out of here. I'm bugging out. I'm bailing." He piles everybody into the pickup truck, and they're going 90 miles an hour down the road. The kids still in their pajamas, and this large craft starts following them down the road. It goes over the cab of the vehicle, over to the wife, and then goes back over to the husband. He's driving. He's shocked at what's going on here. Here's the newspaper in the San Antonio Express, February 6, 1977. Family tells of terror as UFO chase car at 90 miles an hour.
Wow.
And at the very end of this, they pull up to the neighbor's house. They all pile out. They, start knocking on the door. The 2 neighbors get out. So 6 eyewitnesses see this thing depart at about a 45-degree angle. So point being is, this thing had a man-made technology associated with it. It caused a blackout in the back area there. I think it's clear at this point, this is not an ET spacecraft we're dealing with here. This is not an extraterrestrial vehicle. They don't need static wicks. They don't need any of that. We're looking at a man-made technology here. That's exactly what the witnesses are.
In Santa Ana, California, yet, right?
Palooza, California,
Okay,
1976.
what portion of California would that be located
That's
in?
upper northern California,
Right.
south of Redding.
I'm wondering, once again, is it close to the 35th parallel? We know it's close to Groom Lake. We know it's close to everything that's everything out there. It's close to Edwards. Edwards runs Groom Lake. I would think it would come out of one of those places, one of the two. What do you think, Michael?
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be there, but again, we could be looking at something that could be far away. I mean, you could be something like Fort Hood, Texas, at Gray Army Airfield. They have an underground facility there, so it could be any number of places. Difficult.
Geeky 71 said something very interesting. He said static wicks are used on aircraft to dissipate lightning strikes.
Yeah.
Former flight instructor here, and he would know.
Yep. That's it. You know, and I mean, we could go through all these, but these prongs and these protrusions, they just keep popping up. They keep.
Well, Michael,
up.
go over the Tic Tac real quick that was in Pennsylvania in 1967.
All right.
It was over the river, right
Okay,
by the naval base. Check this out, everybody. This is the original Tic Tac story.
Let's go here. We can't talk about UFOs unless we talk about this, right? From current slide. Okay, so what you were talking about, Jeremy, is exactly correct. They're trying to make anything prior to 2004 disappear. And they're rebranding UFOs as UAP and trying to make every one of these historical cases go away. I'm not going to let that happen. You're not going to let that happen. And a lot of people who have come and gone long before us, they're not going to let that happen because their legacy continues on here.
What do you think Stanton is rolling in his grave right now? Not.
You know he is. You know he is. So if we look at the high definition footage of the FA-18 Hornet, and they don't talk about this all that much, but if we take it back to Wycombe, Pennsylvania, March 1967, I dug this out of the Clarksville, West Virginia library. You guys were there, so you know what I'm talking about here. And what the witnesses are telling us here is, in this case, they saw 6 booms with spheres at the end of them. This is almost identical to what Eddie Laxon had talked about. This was a year earlier. And so if we do a AutoCAD rendering, a SolidWorks drawing, you end up with this. And then she said that it had riveted seams. So this is like a boiler with rivets on it, and then prongs and protrusions with these balls at the end of them. It's looking very man-made. It's looking very mechanical. Here's the SolidWorks drawing, just to give an idea of what this thing looked like. And so here we've got an illustration of what the high def footage looked like. And it has very similar prongs and protrusions sticking out of that as well. So if we do a side-by-side comparison, you can see how they've gotten rid of the rivets, but they're probably using a protrusion. They're using a seamless composite construction. And we're looking at a blue on blue situation here where we have our own American fighter pilots chasing after our own deep black programs, and they're not read into the programs. That appears to be what's going on here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I would say so too. You know, it just seems like I fiddled around with the idea that it was laser projection technology, like a spoofing, you know, because that's what T.D. Barnes said when I asked T.D. Barnes what he thought of the Tic Tac and everything in an interview with him. Barnes, you know, the former projects manager at Area 51, you know,
right,
worked out there for like 20 years doing all kinds of CIA projects there. He thought that it was our spoofing technologies. Oh, they were spoofed, you know, and you know, maybe there's so if there's a project like that, it's something that's not at Area 51 and that he doesn't even know about. And San Catalina Island has been this whole Navy SEAL training ground for a long time. I think that they moved a lot of stuff, and they have a whole nother facility out there, Camp Pendleton, and
well, Dugway as well.
Yeah,
for sure, Dugway. And we should also consider, just because someone worked at Area 51 for a number of years doesn't mean they were cleared or were briefed on certain programs. They might be briefed on just a few, but these things are compartmentalized, they're classified, and if you don't have a need to know and you're not read into the program, you're not going to know about it.
There's different stages of jobs at these places.
Yes, that's correct. And just factor in the billions that have been spent over the years, over the decades, on these type programs. And a lot of these programs were born black, died black, and we'll never know anything about it.
So, Michael, you would say that the late 50s were, in fact, the time when the gravity was cracked, basically. Isn't that around the time we came up with somewhere around 56 to 58, somewhere around there? Cracked, and then you're saying it keeps advancing.
Yeah, this is the publication that's the Rosetta Stone to all of it right here. Young Men. This is November 1956. The G engines are coming. This is like the Rosetta Stone that talks about this. So here is the one.
Yeah, I've seen this. We talked about this.
Nick Cook got this slammed on his desktop one day, and he was just astounded about what he was reading in there. And so I was able to track down an original copy. And here's our rendering of what this thing may look like if we actually saw it at Edwards North Base Complex.
Well, that looks like the Eddie Laxon craft.
Yeah, it looks very similar, like another version here. But here are the contractors that are mentioned in that magazine article here. It says aircraft industry firms now participating or actively interested in gravity include Convair of San Diego, Bell Aircraft of Buffalo, New York, Lear Incorporated. So you've got William Lear, you've got John Lear's father involved, Santa Monica, Clark Electronics of Palm Springs, and Sperry Gyroscope of Great Neck, Long Island. This is back in 1955. They were working on cracking the gravity barrier. All of these, I'm not going to go into all these here, but you've got universities. They're working on cracking the gravity barrier. Look at some of these newspaper clippings. Amarillo Daily News, November 26, 1955. Search on for secret of gravity. Changes far beyond atom are the prize. Keep on going here. Gravity studied as power source. Bethlehem Steel is involved. This is from 1957. Experiments seek man to fly planes outside gravity. Again, November 30th, 1955. Interavia, November number 1, 1952. Atomic engine. See, now you're bringing in Atomic Energy Commission. Spaceship marvel seen if science can outwit gravity. So again, the newspaper clippings are telling us they were desperately trying to crack the gravity barrier. This is mid-1950s. And then we run across Eddie Laxon, 1966. So they had an entire 10 years to develop the technology. And then if you look at the AEC, the Air Force, and the United States Navy, they spent almost $1 billion by 1961. So I think they got something for their money.
Yeah.
Yep.
Trillions of dollars are put in. What do you get out?
Trillions of dollars, yes. In fact, this whole quest of cracking the gravity barrier was actually ranked higher than the Manhattan Project.
Yeah.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah.
Bigger endeavor than the Manhattan Project was.
Well,
that means there's a lot of people out there that are keeping their mouths shut.
That's right.
I mean,
no, yeah, there were. These people didn't talk for years. I mean, Richard Feynman attended that 1957 anti-gravity conference at the secret college there at Chapel Hill, and he was like one of the top physicists on the Manhattan Project. He invented like all the math. He did all the math and calculations. He had the highest clearance on that project. In fact, like he helped Los Alamos improve its security tenfold he cracked every single safe when he was working at Los Alamos. I mean, this guy knew everything. And so Richard Feynman, I mean, for him to have been involved and never talked about it. And then he was all against UFOs throughout the 70s and 80s. And this is nonsense, and now it makes a lot more sense. I just wish that he had done, the thing is, Richard Feynman felt so bad about having helped make the atomic weapons. He was like, you know, it messed with his head, because, you know, he's like, he just wants to do good physics, and he never intended for it to be used to, you know, kill massive numbers of people and stuff. So he was real psychologically messed up about that. So I know that they must have used that on Richard Feynman to be like, well, you don't want people to get access to this technology because it's like nuke, you know, it makes nukes look like sticks and stones, you know. So,
I think they just threw money at people, man. Everybody thinks they threaten their families and stuff like that. You got that from John Lear. They remember Michael used to always tell us, John Lear would say, "Oh, they threaten to kill your wife first, then your kids, your dog, your friend." No, I think they just threw money, man. The easiest thing to keep somebody silent is cash.
Well, not only that, guys,
you buy them a brand new car, you give them a huge bank account, and then when they need more money, you give them more. And that was something they had unlimited amounts of money.
Not only that, but we should also consider how they funded the programs. Okay, so you've got the black budget funding going on, but then you've got illegal drug running, illegal arms sales going on, and that's going to pay for a lot more than an oil cartel could ever pay for it. They're making more money off the illegal drugs than they are in the oil cartels. That's how they're funding a lot of this.
Yeah, it's untraceable cash. Then, you know, because the black budgets and stuff, I mean, you can't imagine how many it's hundreds of billions of dollars a year annually. So the money, and it's crazy how, you know, they're the ones in control of the DEA and working with, you know, the like Fast and Furious, you know, all these guys doing, you know, and drugs and guns and man, they're just I guess this business that makes the world go around. But
I think, you know, we are living in a matrix. We are living in a construct. This isn't even a real world.
I know, it's crazy.
Gordon Cooper mentioned that. He said that we are 100 years behind where we should be right now. Yeah, Gordon Cooper mentioned that.
Cooper was something.
Yeah, we've been held back, and you know, it makes me wonder. You know, is it just stupidity? I mean, I've seen the counterintelligence, and I know a lot of people do fall for it and stuff, but you know, I don't know. I just try to. I think they could get away with a lot more before, and the internet's just made us a lot more aware of it and allowed us to share a lot more of the information with each other. So,
but the counterintelligence works. Right.
Now they're using the internet to actually, I mean, we're basically in a small little chamber. They've put us in an information court, and you can't find this stuff through search engines. You look for UFO stuff, they give you all Corbell, they give you all, you know, it's Mosul Space, all aliens. They give you that mainstream narrative to keep you in the matrix. And
when you used to type the UFO subject in, it would take you to above top secret. ATS was great, folks. It's still around the form. My God, you can go through 10 full pages of searches and you don't see anything about ATS. You don't see anything on the living moon. I grew up on forums, man. Jeremy and me had a great forum, the Alien Scientist forum, and some jerk destroyed it. And we had, 50-some thousand posts at one point. We were kicking ass, and somebody destroyed it on purpose. We know who did it. They're still alive, and they got in our inner circle and screwed us.
He's an NSA computer guy, I think now, or something. American University.
Disappeared, gone, just out of nowhere. Came in, rubbed us all out, made a total ass out of Ed Fouché, and we should have known back then we were being played.
And then Ed went and ran to like the biggest disinformation agent on the internet, like my biggest enemy, and don't even say his name.
No, I won't.
Yeah,
I
won't. But
what a shame too. It got us all fighting, and that was what they wanted. I think they wanted. They talk about useful idiots. Sometimes someone can be used, and they'll never know it. And I think that's kind of what they're saying about forenames. Forenames could possibly be being used and not knowing it. Useful idiot's the term they use out there. I've probably been a useful idiot already. Jeremy's probably been a useful idiot already. We just don't know it. We don't know. We always talked about.
We did. I did know it. Real. There's a couple things that I think we were used on. You know, like I don't know about the whole TR3B thing anymore. because remember, we were all into that with Ed and telling us it was this, you know, this TR3B, and then I found all the stuff on the TR3A, and it was related to the B2, like the predecessor for the B2 and all that stuff, and all the drone technology. We found that Black Manta video from the old Teledyne Ryan archive from the San Diego Air and Space Museum that it had been up for like.
That's what Ed talked about, Teledyne Ryan, man. That was
he said it, that TR stood for Teledyne Ryan. He told us that privately.
Tactical reconnaissance,
yeah. So that was kind of. I feel like I don't know if that was, you know, disinformation, because man, I just haven't seen. We've done so much investigation into that TR3B, and you know.
Yeah, but here's the thing, man. Michael Schratt has reports and has some of the most incredible drawings and stuff like that of groups of people that have seen these things flying around. And once again, you see the pipes, tubes, and cylinders under the craft, which indicates to us it's man-made. We see crafts that are almost identical to what Ed described. You have lights in each corner. TR3B. The thickness of the craft is about 25 to 30% of the length. It always seems to be. I had a really good picture of the damn thing one time that was taken from the space station, and I don't know where that is anymore. I had another really good picture of it taken from what was that aircraft? Ed gave me the picture of it. I shouldn't even say that. And I took pictures of the picture, which made it a digital rendering of it. And it's on another computer somewhere, which got whacked. I got to get the computer revived. You should see that picture. I've shown it to a few people who are like, man, I think that's real. And it's in the sky. And Ed claimed it was near Groom Lake when it was taken, but it was in not a F-35, it doesn't matter what it was taken out of. The guy who was on flight took a picture of it.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it was amazing. Yeah, look at Michael. Did you ever see these videos? These are from.
Don't think I've seen this. No.
These are real. These are from. This is TR3A, right, Jeremy?
Yeah,
Explain
this
to
is
him where these are from. He's never seen this stuff. It's incredible. Did you get this stuff from Battelle?
This was actually at a place called Homestead, California. No, it's right up from Mexicali in California. Let me just find the actual town.
And Jeremy, are these drones? Are these just drifting, or are there people flying these? I can't remember. These are miniatures, aren't they?
So Teledyne Ryan, yeah, these are little tiny miniatures. I have there's a whole file I have on all the pictures of this thing too.
This is old, right? How old is this?
This is from the 70s.
Yeah.
This was 1974 to 78. You know, just before the 80s. So a couple years in the late 80s, I mean the late 70s, right before the 80s. Hold up, let me just find this place. It's called.
They would call this an operational model.
So, yeah, El Centro. Okay, there's an airport in El Centro, which is about. It's about 45 minutes. Let me just see. I just want to make sure that where's so San Diego, where Teledyne Ryan's headquarters was. So it's about 90 miles outside of San Diego. If you go inland, it's right up over the border across from Mexicali, and it's a place called El Centro, Texas. And there was a little airport there where they built and flew all these things, you know, and let me just see. I'll repost this on my Twitter so people can have that video if they want to look for it and find it. But yeah, these are the toys that the military's been testing for a long time. These are the size of them.
Yeah, it was like a TR3A. It's very similar to what the TR3A is, Michael. And you've seen countless that craft right there. For goodness sakes, you have drawings of one that was taken. Remember those cantered up? Look at those cantered up back wings there. Remember the guy that was flying over, that was near Edwards Air Force Base, and the guy's up in the cloud sees him?
Well, you can see these are kind of early attempts at reducing radar cross signature with the twin canted vertical stabilizers and the integrated ducted fan.
Yeah.
They're heading in that direction. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, remember that one craft that was like a flattened football? It was like a diamond shaped and it had those they were cantered up or down, I can't remember, and they're like, we see you right now flying. I see this craft flying, and the guy's reporting it to ATC. Remember that case? And they're like, we need you to land. Now they made him land at was it not at Edwards? It was
oh yes, I know what you're talking
it was in Nevada. You know which case I'm talking about. It was in Nevada, and they're like, I see the guy's helmet and everything. And they were like, oh shit, they didn't even know what was going on.
Yes.
So this was I think they powered it with kerosene, with this engine, and it was just a drone that would fly with remote control up to I think 2 mile range, and it had a camera on it that would transmit video back to like a headset, so or a TV screen. So they have a TV screen where they could they were developing it so they could fly it in for drone reconnaissance. Early drone reconnaissance, where they would transmit a television feed back.
Wow.
So
For that launch.
I mean, this is the 70s. You look at the cars in the background and everything, man. It's just this was.
Man, that is TR-3A Black Manna. That is TR-3A land there, man.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. So this when I found all this information, it made me really question the information that Ed had fed us about the TR-3B.
1975, for God's sake.
It makes you wonder, right?
Sure does.
Were we used as disinfo? You have to consider it, man. You can't be. Someone needs to get to Corbell and be like, dude, seriously, give other people a chance to like bring real information forward to like our Congress. And
Jeremy, you say were we used for disinfo? Maybe we were used for info instead. I mean, maybe it's the opposite.
Well, I know we're being used for info now that we've put together the
talking about years ago when we first started, dealing with that. We're used for info, not disinfo. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's I just was really shocked when I found that video and all that stuff, because I was like, man, we haven't found nothing surfaced on this TR-3B in 20 years, and this came out. This is what has surfaced, so you kind of like, sometimes you just got to shake stuff up and then let it sit and see what floats to the top.
You start with the proof of concept. That proof of concept becomes a real vehicle after a while. So you've got to ask yourself, in 1975, if they're making stuff that's that accurate, what on earth is going on now? Or back in the 90s when the TR-3B was really popular, Michael knows better than anybody, dude. Look at all the reports and stuff you've done and have gone over where all these people have seen these things. And there's always people in flight suits looking out what you would call windows,
Well, the other thing, too, is that the witnesses are telling us that they're hearing low-frequency electrical humming noises, like a sewing machine or an electrical transformer. They're telling us this, and they're seeing stacked Legos on the bottom of these things.
And why is that? Because it's human made. It's not aliens. Aliens are not going to fly here from another dimension or another whatever and have pipes, tubes, and stuff that you can get from the plumbing here. To me, that sounds like the cooling system.
Yes.
And we've always thought that, because Michael, you've always talked about the graded cooling system on the back of a refrigerator or an air conditioner. Always seems to be on one of these damn things.
That's right.
It's always is there. And remember, Ed said it was being cooled to 250 degrees Kelvin with liquid nitrogen, if I remember correctly. That's how they cooled it and got the superconductivity in the magnetic field disruptor, aka the MFD. Look at the smile on Michael's face. That's like drugs to him. And me too. I get it.
It's good to see you guys all together here, united as a coalition.
We're kicking ass, Michael. If we can get the team back together and make like a UFO road trip down to Washington to like.
Bro, he's only in Virginia now. All we need to do is make it there. I'll rent a car down there.
I'll meet you guys. Yeah.
We'll rent a car that has a ton of room in it. We can throw tons of stuff in it. Go hoteling and just go across the country for like 3-4 weeks. And, and see what's going on, man. We'll end up at Groom Lake, get thrown out. Did you see the other day there was a guy that went there?
Yeah, I said that the MJ-12 had hired him.
Said MJ12 hired him. He went there. The guy had a loaded machine gun, man. I'm like, did you see the gun he had?
Yeah, huh?
You know, I never thought about it. You could be catfished to go to Area 51 if you believe in it well enough. I mean, I used to talk to Dan Burch. If he told me to show up, I'd go out there. Remember, Mike, I was telling you about when Dan Burch told me when he got on there. I told you about that, Jeremy, a bunch of times when Dan Burch said, listen, stuck his phone in his pocket, claimed he was at McCarran Airport, and it sounded like you're like, you know, come on, you know, Marcia and Dan, get over here, and you hear this yelling in the background, and it's echoing and stuff. I swear you're the guy who had the best sound machine in the world, or I listened to the guy fly a helicopter to Groom Lake. It was very weird, man.
I'll bet you he was like catfish through Discord or something, man. And I can't stand Discord, so like, you know, I bet you like one of those people on there convinced him that, you know, it was real and like, come to work out here, man. I could just see it all, dude. That guy was like confused. Yeah, he was definitely confused.
He believed that he was hired. He goes, MJ12 hired me, and he said, you guys probably wouldn't know who they are, and it's the guards out at Groom Lake. Wow. And it's funny, the guards now just wear a scarf around their face, and the police videos show who they are and everything now, because everything's about having a camera on, you know, and you can see the whole damn thing, man. It's like, wow, man, what is going on? He's the second guy who was sent out there by MJ12. Suppose there's another guy that was sent out there too, but the other guy was really out.
Oh man,
the machine gun was very impressive. The guy had, dude. It was. They were like, look at this damn gun. They took that away from him until he got off the property, and then I think they made him go get it back to the sheriffs or something like that. I forget what the deal was, man. It was,
yeah,
it had a clip in it like this long, man. It was,
dude.
He said MJ12 hired him, and you know, imagine if we showed up out there and we're like, yeah, we were hired by John Lear, told us to come out here. He's still alive. He's living in Argentina. As I say Argentina, or somebody says a big hug from Argentina. Okay, cool. Big hug from Argentina, Michael.
Okay.
I want to see if I can find that video and show it.
Go ahead, show it to everybody. It's great. By the way, everybody's out there. Just wanted to say something. We got 300 people watching, only 6 thumbs up. Come on, man.
Oh, this is great, dude.
Come on, give us some thumbs up. So that
yeah, smash the like button, guys. And if you're not subscribed, we really rely on subscribers to grow the channel. So please subscribe to my channel, and also look up Michael Schratt's channel and subscribe to his YouTube channel as well.
Definitely sub to Michael's channel. It's fucking great. I love it. When he put the video out, I call him on the phone right after it's done and tell him what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it. And normally there's nothing I don't like about it. I mean, yeah, I like the whole fucking video. What I'm saying is,
yeah, if you like UFO, just like UFO stuff, because I know there's some people that like UFO. We do a mix of UFOs and science on Alien Scientists. So
Michael's
if you like just the UFO stuff, it's like 20 times better than Weaponized. It's
better than anyone else out there. The level of research is insane, and the level of the drawings is on the highest professional level. That Ford truck, for God's sakes, it was on there. I mean, cool. I want that thing. Here we go. Watch it.
On the morning of February 19th, 2023, a deputy from the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office in Nevada is dispatched to the highly classified facility known as Area 51. He has little information to go on other than the fact that a mysterious man has trespassed and is now being detained. When the outrageous story behind what has brought him to the site is uncovered, it proves to be one so bizarre that deputies themselves are completely shocked. The following footage has never been seen before.
They stopped and challenged him, got him out, got him handcuffed, ended up finding an AR-15 fully loaded on fire right behind the driver's seat of the floor. We're in right now to see if OSI wants us to take possession of the firearms, to see the property with the assault rifle, or if we're going to turn them over to you. But one way or the other, I can't let him leave this facility with it in his possession.
Yeah. Well, obviously you did because you paid attention to science.
Oh, Majestic 12, I thought, my bad.
Then Trevor offers up some intriguing information. Perhaps these tidbits will shed some light on this vague mission Trevor claims to have been recruited to join by the covert Majestic 12.
Did you know all chemical bonds are really quantum magnetic dipoles?
Everyone is temporarily rendered speechless by this information.
He watches your channel.
Pretty simple, man. Yeah, it's super simple. So super simple.
What does he say? Quantum magnetic dipoles. Okay.
Yeah, rewind it again, man. He obviously watches you.
Recruited to join by the covert Majestic 12.
Again. You know, all chemical bonds are really.
All chemical bonds are really quantum magnetic dipoles. Dipoles. Okay. Yeah, you mean just like two magnets stuck to each other? Or a magnetic dipole is just a magnet with a north and a south end.
Oh, he starts to explain it more. He explains how it's all connected. Planets are interconnected.
Everyone is temporarily rendered speechless by this information.
I try to keep life pretty simple, man.
Yeah, it's super simple.
So super simple. So if the sign says, I can see this sign right there.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Super secret. They're super secret file closed.
At this point, the deputy trudges up the road to observe the signs for himself. As expected, they're hard to miss.
Do you know the route to get to Cedar City?
You said you had a hotel room in Alamo, though, right?
Yeah, super simple. Can't get more simple than that. All the atoms in this thing, they're all connected by magnetic dipoles. But steel has like 8, water has like 4. 8 dipoles in one atom. That's why steel is so hard to break apart. That's why water falls apart like nothing, because it's only got like 2 or 3.
Then Trevor finally confides in them. The whole purpose behind his long-distance trek to the facility is revealed.
They told me, I'm not kidding, Majestic 12 told me to come out. They said, come build our nanobots for us. And then I get out here, and then there's nobody out here.
He looks so down. He's like, man, I thought I knew so much about nanobots and chemistry. Yeah, it's a little more complicated than that. But that's fine. I'm not going to give people a chemistry lesson here.
He's probably watching the channel right now. He's probably in the chat. Are you in the chat, dude? In the dipoles?
Dude, I wonder if this guy has ever watched Alien Scientist before, but we don't talk about any of that stuff either. So that's not
He's not even nervous, bro. If I had those federal agents around me out in the middle of nowhere where they could just kill me and bury me out there somewhere near Joshua Tree, I'd be nervous.
It's not a suit.
Yeah, I'd be nervous as hell too.
There's more for sending. It's just to get a little tiny electric, just to get a machine inside your brain to send you electric impulses to control you. That's its only purpose. It's not going to be a suit like Iron Man or some dumb shit.
They never searched his truck or anything.
Like the route, do you know?
Yeah, I think they searched his truck, but that was all like.
I don't know. I think they asked him if he had any firearms. He's like, here, I got an AR-15. The thing had I don't know, the biggest clip you can imagine in there. It's fucking semi.
Did they show it? I want to see
auto. I think it's full auto too. Weren't they bitching about it being fully automatic or something at one point? But it doesn't matter there.
They don't show the rifle, do they?
I think they keep taking it. I think they were going to take it, and then when they realized he was leaving, they gave it back to him.
We'll FOIA the police department and get it. Is that it?
Onto the premises, and the fact that he stated he may return, it seems that the
Oh yeah, that's a nice gun. I didn't see the clip though. Anyways, it's cool they let him out of handcuffs and stuff, but I guess they just kicked him out. They probably felt bad for him, dude. Honestly.
Look at him, dude. He is down. I guess he thought he was going to. Imagine you think you're going to S4, bro, and you think you're going to see some alien spaceships. You're going to see Bob Lazar rolling in and out. Hey, Bernard, what's up? And you're going to see the sport model come out and go flying up in the air, and you're turned around, sent back to your fucking hotel. I mean, it just sucks. I mean, I'd be down in the dumps. I remember when I completely believed that S4 was real, 100%. Michael, you did. Jeremy, you did. Michael did work with Dan Burchett and stuff like that, and I used to dream about S4. And my background right now, my computer is an incredible picture of Papoose Dry Lake Bed taken by what's that guy's name that flew over that I know?
Gabe Zeifman, yeah.
Gabe Zeifman took those great pictures of it. I made that my background and my my computer's out. I just love the thought of Papoose Lake having a base out there, but unfortunately, we all cry about it not being there. I want it there more than anything. I don't want that story to be false. I want the story to be true.
I don't know if it's a new contractor out there. Man, I just imagine this guy was staying at the inn out there and like told to drive out here and everything, man. It's like,
do you think a friend pranked him or something? You know, he's got to be into UFOs. They didn't mention what his name was, did they? They kept that private because we could look him up quick.
Is this where they keep the aliens?
That's good.
Yeah, dude. Let's go check it out.
They didn't even find him. Typically, he went over the line too, right? Yes, he's beyond the line, right? Yeah. Back here's the line. He went over it. I think that's why they came and grabbed him. They're not allowed to just come and grab you unless you go over the line. He looks like he's very calm for someone that it's like he's on Thorazine, for someone that is being dealt with by the feds right now and the sheriff's department. They were going to put his ass in jail for going over the line, and they didn't. There's a really good Jerry Freeman video on here on this channel here. These people here, what they call it EWU now, body cam. It used to be called Work With Us or something, or what's the name of this channel, Jeremy? Something With Us, Follow Us or something. They do that Jerry Freeman video on here. It's really good, man.
Oh yeah, the guy who
yeah, it's called EWU now. It's Something With Us. Explore With Us is the name of the channel. They do a Jerry Freeman Papoose Lake video that's epic, Michael. I think I sent it to you.
Okay.
Explore With Us. Right there it is with the red glasses.
Take no for an.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, these are the same channel. It's the same channel that did the guy that went out there.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you look, it's called Explore With Us there, though, so it's probably a different version of it.
Okay.
Definitely cool that they're picking up on. These guys watched our stuff.
Yeah, they've done some great videos. This channel, I like it a lot. They do anytime someone goes out there Area 51 and travels over the line, they get the body footage, the footage, everything. You know, they get it all. What happened to those two old ladies, guys, that went over the line that time? What happened?
Yeah. You ever seen that video?
That's the crazy. They did that one. What happened to those two old ladies? They shot the one's tire out. You hear them fire the gun off. There they are. You hear them fire the gun off, man. And they just go flying, man. Right past.
Dust plume.
We'll rewind a little bit. This is where goes the gate. We want to go to the gate.
That way, then.
Yeah. Craziest story ever, man. I think they're aliens.
You lost?
They're aliens, dude.
Just go straight down this way.
Down there. And what's up that way?
Sure. We don't know.
Because we've been around looking for the gate.
Go that way and you'll get right to the highway.
280-year-old women. Come on, guys.
To what?
The gate by the security gate.
That way, then. Yeah.
We're trying to find our ship.
Yeah, it's 13 miles.
Yeah,
From here, it's 7 miles.
Because we're staying over at
Rachel.
Right. Rachel is that way. From.
Yeah.
So go back go straight back down this way. You'll hit 375, make a left to right.
Well, but what, 7 miles?
7 miles. Yeah, and don't.
He literally says, don't go too far or they'll get you. And man, watch this. For those of you who have never seen this, this is the most incredible Area 51 video I've ever seen ever. When it comes to going over going past the gate and stuff. Watch this. They don't just go by, they blow right past them. I think they're aliens, personally. I've always thought they're aliens. This video had like, how many videos does this video have? Views. Like 50 million. Stupid. The new gate.
This is great. These ladies are like Thelma and Louise.
I think they're aliens.
They're going through
in a human suit.
Did they pass it? Stop. No, I don't think they did.
Watch the truck take off after
them. They
them.
went through. They did. They just went through. They just went through the gate, guys.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
They are so screwed. I'm turning around and getting out.
Truck's coming out.
Is the truck off, bro? Look at this. He's in one of them TRXs too, I think.
Stop.
got to get this. We're gonna miss some R8 footage.
Well, no, this happened a while.
Those guys, listen, these guys just went through the Area 51 sign.
We're turning around right
You
now.
listen, you hear a pop like that. They blow her tire out with a
and we're
gun.
leaving. We're going to let them deal with them. Those ladies are screwed.
Guys, I'm going to sign off. Wonderful joining you.
They're still going. That guy's speeding fast.
Michael's going to roll out.
Yeah, sorry to derail off. That was a great presentation, Michael. Were you were done, right?
No, we have plenty to do. Just wanted to cover some
I'm
points.
sorry. This was impromptu, by the way. We didn't plan this, so
Yeah.
sorry for everyone that it's for the disorganization. So, but we'll definitely get you back on another time, and we should definitely get the team back together and do some more investigations. And
we're gonna
stuff, man, because
we're gonna. I should have got laid off today. I could have asked for it on purpose. That would have been great. I could have. I literally could have laid off today, man.
Have a good
All right,
night.
Mike. Take
Later,
care.
Michael.
Thank
Hey.
you. Ladies and
Take care.
gentlemen,
Thanks,
Michael
Carter. I'll
Schratt,
text you later.
All good. We're good.
the one and only.
We're gonna watch those old ladies real quick. Go ahead. Show that, man. You got to. Jeremy, if that's the original video, do you have the view count of that thing?
They went fast.
It's only got like 59K on this channel.
Yeah, no, that's not the original one. Has like 50 million.
Yeah,
I'm freaking out.
Yeah, so watch this, man. This is crazy.
No one
man.
go past the
Here comes
sign,
the
dude.
sheriff. That he's like way older now, too. God, this was about 15, 16 years ago, minimum, right? 2011, I think this was.
They'll get $1,000 fine. They'll hold them for a couple of days. You know, they're not gonna.
Dude, those ladies just went through.
Yeah, I know they
Who
blew
cares? She's retired. She's not gonna need to get a job.
Buyer 51.
I mean, I know people think I'm nuts, but I often thought that woman, the way her skin was hanging and stuff, I thought it was some kind of alien. I thought she was an alien. Now, look, they show the sheriff just take off.
I can go up to the.
That
I need to stop now.
dust trail said sheriff.
We need to stop now so I can film it.
They got so scared they got
Sheriff
out of there.
They went by us. I don't know if you were able to see him in the car, but
He's flying, dude.
That's them, huh?
Yeah,
They're
I'm
just
pretty sure
booking
they
it.
shot the tire out.
they're
of
51 now.
They didn't know what
Probably
was
to
going
obtain the
on.
ladies.
It's such a long ride out there too. It's like another like 10 or like 12 miles from the gate to the base. It's
Oh, yeah. This is post 9/11. This is very serious, and people tried to find information about this case, and no one could really find
Well, maybe
anything.
we'll see another
It makes
cop
you wonder
coming.
if even arrested them or what the fuck, man, or were they ETs?
going
I
on.
keep saying that, man. It's just I don't know. There was something so strange about that. Plus, how old they were. Ladies like, I want to see the gate. It's like you went through it, at 100 miles an hour. You crazy nut.
Yeah, right. What's you gonna do? Like go see the Groom Lake, the actual building. She just blasted right through.
If you go out there now, there's the kid.
Yeah.
They have a yellow. You can't do that anymore. They have a gate that latches, not even electric.
That was great, man.
I know.
Oh,
I wonder what happened to that original video, because I'm telling you, it had a minimum of like 50 or 60 million views like 10 years ago. It's like, wow, look at this. The amount of money that kid made on that's incredible. And that song got real popular by Tool that was on there, remember? There's a song at the beginning they play, and no one knew what the song was, and everybody wanted that song afterwards. It's because of these guys, man.
I didn't know about that. Let me see. I want to definitely, I don't want to let this go on too long. I would like to wrap it up before it gets, too crazy. Because people tend to not watch stuff that's too long, and I think we nailed a lot of good stuff, man. It was a good show tonight. So
I think you need to do more where it's just open, talk UFOs more. The science stuff, I understand there's a bunch of scientists and stuff out there. I am not a scientist by any means, but I know a lot about UFOs. Michael Schratt's the best, in my opinion.
I know enough science to know who's bullshitting and who's not. And
yep, it's great to be able to just call him on the phone and have him come on here. I mean, That was pretty
that's cool. We got a lot of cool. I got a whole bunch of people contacting me from the UFO community now, man. Lots of people are reaching out. I mean, I've been on Jay's podcast a couple times. You know, he's talking directly to Tim Burchett, so we're very well connected up there now in the whole scheme of things and getting the information to the right people and getting it out there. So,
I even noticed that Ashton's got he's got a pretty good UFO. Like he's just getting into the UFO like scene now instead of just talking about his MH370. I think that's what Ashton needs to do, because I'm kind of played out about the video thing he's got there. I like everyone guys. Just because I listen to him doesn't mean that I believe that video. I like the fight Ashton's putting up. Ashton Forbes. I like the fight he's putting up. He's not taking any shit from these people. They call him a liar and stuff like that. And I like the fact that he believes in himself, and
that's good. I love that too. That's what I like about him, is that he didn't he took on friggin' Julian Dorian and Danny Jones back to back, and he still was like, nope. Like
Julian Dorian, in my opinion, made himself look bad with the way he treated him. I didn't like the way he treated him at all, man. I felt sorry for Forbes. And Forbes, I've talked to him off this show. Very nice guy, very smart. He's harmless. He's not, kind of reminds me of Michael Schratt a little bit,
Yeah.
Younger Michael Schratt, Is Richard Doty still a liar? Someone says, you know what? Richard Doty is on Fessler's show a lot. And I didn't know that. And I started watching Fessler's show a little bit. Richard Doty, I think, plays with the crowd, and he gets a big kick out of it. I had talked to Doty a couple times. He loves to mess with people, and that's my opinion about Doty. I think Doty does know stuff. If you talk to what's one of our favorite people's name, Jeremy, that had the same job as Richard Doty, but he has a show on every Friday night. You've had him on your show already, and he talks about Doty. He doesn't like him. Shoot, what's that guy's name, man? He's on all the time on Fridays and stuff. He had the same kind of job title as Richard Doty did. He was, darn it, man, I can't think of his name. He was Air Force, FBI. Man,
Walter Bosley.
Walter Bosley. Yeah, Walter Bosley has a certain opinion about Doty that's very interesting.
Guys, if you want to see and learn more about Walter Bosley and Richard Doty, go check out the documentary Mirage Men. It's actually free on YouTube. This is a good one. This is a good one to watch with your girlfriend or your call girl or whoever you're with tonight.
It's great. As a matter of fact, that's what I'm going to watch to put myself to sleep tonight. I love that program. Walter Bosley's on there as a very young man. There's Doty there. Doty's pretty young. We have Linda Moulton Howe on there, I believe. Yeah, they talk about her. It's pretty interesting, man. Give it a go if you will.
Definitely a must watch for everyone new to UFOs and stuff. So well, I'm gonna end this here, man, and let's we got some more stuff coming tonight. We got there's an article coming out about the whole the breakthroughs that we've had at the APEC conference coming out I think in the debrief. Lots of things are on deck for February, guys. We're getting more information to the right people. Trying to get an audience with Tim Burchett or maybe some of these other people. We trying to push this ball further down the road and get people like Corbell who have massive followings and just create this massive distraction for the entire public, and they're too egotistical and full of themselves to realize they're being used. It's a shame.
People not even being used. That jellyfish is just embarrassment, man. It's balloons, folks.
And none of these his crew and his crowd, the people close to him, will ever call him out or so he's always got that echo chamber that he can live in. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's I wonder if he's some kind of UFO lobbyist or something. I don't know who he'd be working for, but it's almost what it seems to be.
Well, this is the end, and have a good night.
Later on, everybody.
Peace out. Stream.